Look, I need you to hear this clearly. There is a financial decision you are either making right now or you are actively avoiding, and that single choice will quietly decide whether you retire with freedom or spend the last decades of your life negotiating bills, rationing comfort, and wondering where everything went wrong. The terrifying part? It has nothing to do with intelligence, talent, or how hard you work. It happens automatically unless you interrupt it. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Financial failure doesn't arrive dramatically. It doesn't knock on your door. It creeps in slowly, disguised as normal life. Rent gets paid, subscriptions renew, paychecks arrive and disappear, and one day without warning you look up and realize time has moved forward, but you haven't. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. According to data from the Federal Reserve, nearly 63% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency without borrowing or selling something. That's not fringe poverty. That includes people with degrees, careers, and stable lives. People who look successful, people who feel fine, until they're not. And this is the trap. Because when survival feels stable, urgency disappears. The danger doesn't feel real yet, so the brain relaxes, spending feels harmless, saving feels optional, and investing, that gets postponed to someday. But someday is not a time, it's a lie the brain uses to avoid discomfort. Here's a question that should bother you. If most people are struggling financially and most people believe they're doing okay, how many people are walking confidently in the wrong direction? This is where scale matters. Zoom out for a second. The average American works about 90,000 hours over their lifetime. That is an unimaginable amount of effort, stress, and sacrificed time. And yet, the median retirement savings for people aged 55 to 64 is under $90,000. That's not a retirement, that's a delay. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but I don't earn enough to change that. That thought is exactly where the damage starts, because the truth is brutal. Income is not the deciding factor, behavior is. Let me show you something most people never look at. If you take $100 per month, not per week, not per day, and invest it consistently, something strange begins to happen. At first, nothing feels different. No lifestyle upgrade, no dopamine hit, no visible reward. And that's why people quit. But under the surface, something far more dangerous is forming. See, the human brain is terrible at understanding exponential growth. We're wired for linear cause and effect. Work more, earn more, spend less, save more. But compound growth doesn't move in straight lines. It moves quietly, then violently. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's say you invest $100 a month at a conservative 8% annual return, which is actually below the long-term historical average of the US stock market. After 10 years, you don't have $12,000, you have roughly $18,300. Most people stop listening right here. They think, nice, but not life-changing, and they walk away. That reaction is the financial equivalent of leading a rocket launch because the engine is still loud, because the real event hasn't happened yet. Extend that same behavior, same $100, same return across 40 years. Your total contribution is $48,000, but your account doesn't stop there. It crosses $350,000. Read that again. You put in less than $50,000 and the system hands you back over $350,000. More than 85% of that money came from growth, not work. That should scare you, because if compound growth can work that powerfully for you, imagine what happens when you ignore it. This is where fear should set in. Every year you delay, you don't just lose a year of contributions, you lose decades of growth on every dollar you could have invested. Starting at 35 instead of 25 doesn't cost you $12,000, it can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And here's what nobody warns you about. The real enemy isn't low income, it's lifestyle absorption. As income rises, expenses expand to fill it. Cars get nicer, apartments get bigger, subscriptions multiply, and suddenly the same person earning double what they used to earn still feels broke. This isn't accidental, it's psychological. Dopamine rewards spending now, investing rewards patience later. The brain always prefers now unless you rewire it. This is why $100 matters, not because of the amount, but because of what it forces you to become. When you commit to investing a fixed amount every month, something shifts. You start noticing waste, you question purchases, you feel friction when spending impulsively, and not friction is the sound of behavior changing. Now, you might be thinking, but I genuinely don't have $100. Statistically, that's unlikely. The average American spends over $300 a month on subscriptions, dining out, and impulse purchases, not needs, noise, convenience, comfort. The money is already leaving your account. The only question is whether it's building your future or erasing it. Here's the dangerous part. Once investing becomes automated, once that $100 leaves your account before you touch it, your brain adapts. The sacrifice disappears, but the growth doesn't. And that's when the machine starts running without you. This is the point most people never reach, because consistency feels boring until the numbers get large. And when the numbers get large, the psychology flips. You stop asking, can I afford this? You start asking, how much future money does this cost me? That question alone separates financial survivors from financial architects. And here's the hard truth. Nothing changes until you feel loss aversion to wasted money instead of excitement towards spending. That shift doesn't come from motivation, it comes from momentum. And momentum starts small. But here's the twist most people don't expect. The $100 isn't the strategy, it's the trigger. Once growth becomes visible, behavior accelerates. Raises get redirected, refunds get invested, side income gets created. Not because someone told you to, but because the system rewards you for feeding it. This is how ordinary people quietly become wealthy, not through intelligence, not through risk, but through time weaponized by consistency. And here's the haunting part. Every month you don't start, the system runs against you. Your future doesn't pause, it compounds with or without your permission. And once enough time passes, there is no catching up.